Hello and welcome to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. There is a couplet that says, मैं उस शख्स को जिंदों में क्यों शुमार करूं जो सोचता भी नहीं, ख्वाब देखता भी नहीं. Every week it's a sea of content out there. We tell you to choose wisely and also make you meet the best in entertainment up close and personal. Today we will review a web series that talk about two men who thought big and who dreamt big. Let's start with the headlines. Rocket Boys is a well-mounted, meticulous story of two opposite men who took India to the world map. It is worth a watch for everyone. A freewheeling chat with the acclaimed actor Rajkummar Rao about his next outing, Badhaai Do. And singer Sonu Nigam, who was honoured with Padma Shree, speaks exclusively to us about his big honour and music. Rocket Boys retraces the accomplishments and goes deep into the personalities of Indian nuclear physicists Homi Jahangir Bhabha and Vikram Sarabhai, their journey to achieving greatness and creating history for post-independence of India. Created by Roy Kapoor Films and Nikhil Advani's Emmy Entertainment, Rocket Boys takes us back to the era, highlights Bhabha's and Sarabhai's love for physics and nuclear space. It also follows both the men in their tribulations to put India on the world map of the space program. While Jim Sarbh plays Homi Bhabha, Ishwak Singh portrays the role of Vikram Sarabhai in this 8-part series on Sony Live. The series is about youthful ambitions, power versus stability, macho versus mind, and a sharp contrast between two men who highlight the building up of a new nation, yet stay absolutely opposite in the way of approaching their dreams and their ideologies. As I watched the series, I was invested more in the making of the men from young boys to leaders. There is more of a serene painting of that era than the histrionics of nuclear energy. Anyone invested in science and particularly physics will find the series interesting, as in the new age of web series, there are a few that focus more on facts and history than drama, titillation and need for just eyeballs. It's a genuine and sincere effort to tell the story as it was. The actors Jim Sarbh and Ishwak Singh have performed as smartly as they were cast. Looking like Bhabha and Sarabhai, just comparing the two with the pictures of these leaders is a heartwarming feeling. They look the man they play, they act like the man they play. Jim Sarbh as a swashbuckling man in terms of his humour, aspirations, ideology, choice in women is a layered character that one looks forward to watching more of, as he is just the person every soul wants to be, fearless. On the other hand, Sarabhai, who was a Gandhian, is a demure, calm, ferociously peaceful and ideologically very rooted in Gandhian principles and socialist beliefs. The contrast that the two men bring in every scene together builds up a successful narrative. Focused more on the men of that age, Nehru, Jinnah, J.R.D. Tata, APJ Abdul Kalam, briefly though, and using close shots much more than long establishing shots. This is a story about men with the love of science more as opposed to the journey of India in the field of science. While we are heading beyond action and romance in our films and shows, there is definitely a dearth of good content in our country, and there is always a trick to make science and physics entertaining. Director Abhay Pannu adds liberal doses of love and romance. It is a story about Renaissance men and the risks they took and the sacrifices they made. Expecting it to be a science series would be disappointing oneself. I suggest go for it. Now, talented Mr. Rao. I'm talking about Rajkummar Rao, who will be seen next in Badhaai Do, that depicts a marriage of convenience. Talks to me about the film and what he's been up to ever since he got married to his longtime girlfriend, Patralekha. Hello, Rajkummar Rao. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all well. Shadi Mubarak.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You got married this year, but you have been kind of living in for a very long time. What took you this long to get married?
I don't know. मतलब we were always sure कि ये होना ही है आज नहीं तो कल. But just that हमने decide नहीं किया था कब होगा. And just that एक दिन हमको लगा कि अभी सही वक्त है और हमें कर लेना चाहिए तो हमने कर लिया.
Okay. And two people who are both in performing arts, both are trained actors and good actors and aspiring to do good work in the field of acting. how do they make a very good couple? What are the things they need to care about in a relationship?
Well, we trust each other. We are more than anything. We are also best friends. So we love each other's company a lot. Although when we are there, we really don't need anyone. We can go on holidays all alone. We can be just at home, all by ourselves. We can share also silences together. So I think just that's the only thing I think that's needed.
Lovely. And as Rumi said, let there be space in togetherness. So you have the right amount of space when you're working for a couple of weeks or months while you're away. So great. All the best for a beautiful married life ahead.
Thank you so much.
Your latest film also talks about marriage.
Yeah, it's a different kind of wedding though.
Different kind of wedding. Tell me, बधाई मैंने ट्रेलर देखा सबसे पहले आपको मुबारकबाद. It's a beautiful trailer, very sensitive and very beautifully aesthetically presented the story of two people with the different kind of choices. Are social dramas coming to you incidentally, or you're choosing to do a lot of social dramas because ultimately it impacts the society and has more likability, more reach?
I think both ways. It's not like I'm only going to do social dramas from now on. I want to do everything. Like I've done Monica, My Darling, which is a thriller, like a comedy thriller. There's Hit, which is a hardcore thriller. And there's Bheed, which is a social drama again. So I think I want to do everything. But if at times, if there's a film where we can also, talk about something which is happening in the society, then I'm game for it. हम ज़्यादातर बात नहीं करते हैं जिसके बारे में जो कि समाज में है मौजूद. अगर उसको हम लोगों तक पहुंचा पाए तो आई थिंक वो एक बहुत बड़ा योगदान है एज एन आर्टिस्ट मेरा. With men, we have seen already in Aligarh. You were a part of Aligarh. That helped us change a lot in the way we look at homosexual men. But this time, it is also women who are coming out in the open, and this is maybe for the first time that in a massy film, in a big commercial film, we are talking about the problems that women also face if they have a different kind of a preference. And this time, both of you, the man and the woman, both of them together kind of give it a double effect, right? Yeah. Yeah, the credit goes to Harsh and our writers, Akshat and Suman. They wrote this beautiful story and they wrote it with so much of sensitivity and with so much of detail. In the writing process also, they involved a lot of people from the community. They were making them read the script, the different drafts and taking their feedback. So we made sure that nothing should go wrong. If there's any human error, of course, knowingly we would never do that. But apart from that, no, we were always pretty sure the way we want to do portray the story of both these characters, Shardul and Sumi. Also, if you are in a lavender wedding, it's the whole point of you being in a lavender wedding is that you don't want to come out. You don't want to talk to people and for anyone to know. But he got to know them through his friends from the community, and that's what I was saying. The writing process actually almost took around 2.5-3 years because he was making sure that everything should go right. Right. So you just mentioned a word called lavender wedding. Elaborate. Well, lavender wedding is when you get under an arrangement or a setup where because of the societal pressure or the family pressure, you are not being able to come out. And you're not really, because you know that society or the families might not accept you the way you are because your sexual preference is different from theirs. So that's why you get under this arrangement of lavender wedding where you can live like friends and live your own life. You are not answerable to anyone and there's no pressure from the families or the society. And also in these films, one has often noticed that when we portray a homosexual man, they make him more effeminate. And when we portray a woman whose sexual preference is different, they become more masculine. Very tomboyish, yeah. Tomboyish. Your film kind of steers away from. Yeah. We were sure of that we never want to do anything which is so obvious because that's what the conditioning is, that because we've seen in earlier films, like not maybe now, but some 10 years back, the kind of films we used to make, we just used to make fun of homosexual people. Yeah. They were there just to, and make fun on them. So it's never like in our film we're making fun on, the fun is coming out because of these two people. People are laughing on them. No, people are laughing on the situations that these two people are in and never on them. I was in conversation with Pankaj Tripathi, and he said a very beautiful thing to me. We were talking about the whole PR machinery of an actor and what all does he have to do. He said कि दिल में उतरने के लिए अखबारों में छपना जरूरी नहीं होता. What is your approach to being relevant as an actor at the same time being
seen as a very respectable actor who's serious about his work. What's your mantra?
My mantra is simple. I just want people to know me for my work and nothing else. They should talk about my films. They should talk about my characters and performances, and not like, how amazing reels I make. Also, because I can't do that. I'm not that kind of a guy who can post some like 2-3 things every day. I don't get it. I don't, and I'm not saying it's with due respect to it, but who does? It's each to his own.
Yeah.
It's not me. So it doesn't come to me naturally. For me, I'm more focused on my films, my characters. I want to give my 200% there. I want to put all my energy there and not think about, oh, I have to post something. So what can I post? Let me think of an idea. Maybe this trend is going on. No, I would rather think about, oh, tomorrow I'm shooting this scene. What are the ways I can do this scene? So I'm more focused on that. And I want to leave behind a legacy of, after 50 years, I want to look back and be proud of the kind of work I've done. And I want people to remember me for my work and nothing else. So you see yourself someone as Irfan Khan, Manoj Bajpayee? Oh, Irfan sir, he's a legend. The biggest loss, I think, one of the biggest losses that we've seen is Irfan sir. What an artist. That's true. What an artist. And you're also doing work that symbolizes the work of a true artist, experimenting with the right genres, with the right stories, and appealing to the classes as well as masses. Raj, thank you for being just you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Atika.
Time for a short break on the show. When we come back, we have an exclusive chat with the legendary singer Sonu Nigam, who's now Padma Shree. Welcome back to Now Showing. I'm Atika Farooqui. Up next, we have an ecstatic Sonu Nigam who was recently conferred with the Padma Shree. He says, "Bahut der kar di meherban aate aate." When my colleague Vishal Chatkara asked him about the big honor. Sonu also reveals why a song recording for an Aamir Khan starrer film has always been a special moment in his life, and the unmatchable love he gets from his Kannada fans. Listen in.
Sonu, congratulations for the big honor. You are, of course, now Padma Shri Sonu Nigam. Is the feeling different to any other award? You, of course, were also honored with National Award, and also you have bagged various other film awards.
I mean, with all due respect, I'm saying there is a famous ghazal of Majaz Sahab, Majaz, उनका नाम है मजाज साहब. उसमें है कि अब जो तुम मेरे पास आई हो तो क्या आई हो, अब जो तुम मेरे पास आई हो तो क्या आई हो. ये एक बड़ी अच्छी गजल है. उसका मीनिंग अलग है, लेकिन मुझे जब मिला तो मैं यही सोच रहा था कि when all the expectations, all years and I mean decades back, all of this started when I was doing Saregama. People used to say that the government of India is considering, because you are changing the face of music and the perception of music in the generation of from 1995 onwards. तब से लेकर अब तक मुझे कल हो ना हो आया, अभी मुझ में कहीं आया. There were so many things that happened in my life, and since I've been in this country, in this business for such a long time, people from the bureaucracy, you get to know what's happening inside. They give you the inside information that, okay, this year you are being considered. So when it finally happened this time, I did not honestly trust it instantly. I thought कि पता नहीं ये पहले कई सालों जैसा नहीं हो जाए. But when it got confirmed, I felt nice, and when I told my father, and when my father, the way he reacted, it was beautiful, and I'm very happy that देर से ही, but I got this organically. I didn't have to approach anybody. I didn't lobby for it. So it felt good that it came organically to me.
This is गाना ना अब आइए आपका इंतजार था. Is that how to describe it?
मैंने कहा बहुत देर कर दी सनम आते आते, बहुत देर कर दी मेहरबान आते आते.
I came across your video blog in which you were talking about singing for Lal Singh Chadda.
हाँ, अभी गया मैंने.
More about that and what can we expect?
Oh,
very eagerly waiting for that song.
Well, Pritam ne compose kiya hai. Amitabh Bhattacharya has written the song, beautifully written, and everybody knows my love for Aamir Khan, and people know that I've earlier also in one of my shows where he was a guest, 1998 की भी नहीं बात है. I had shown him the diaries and everything, his posters as to, because when he came in the scene, I was 14 years old, and I loved Atika, and I loved him. There was a connection that I still feel, and we both feel. When I meet him, he also knows that we both have the same tastes and the same view about the world, and a lot of things that are common. So it was so nice to have him around when I was singing the song, and he's a very evolved soul. So when he was trying to tell me, सोनू ऐसा करना यार, सोनू वैसा करना थोड़ा सा, मुझे वैसा चाहिए, हाँ ये चाहिए वो चाहिए, I didn't mind at all because I knew that this man who's telling me what to do knows his craft very well, knows his movie very well, knows his character very well, knows the kind of music that will gel with his movie very well. So I really enjoyed the process. We took about 5.5 hours.
Wow.
We sang, and then उसके बाद में थोड़ा बाहर बैठे, फिर फर्स्ट ब्रेक ले गए, अच्छा सुनो ऐसा करना है इसको. Then we came out. Then Amitabh Bhattacharya narrated him the second antara. Then I went back again. We did the second antara again. So it took. I told them bye at about 1:15 a.m. from the studio, and then I sang another song and shot for it. So that was a very very hard working night for me. But it was a beautiful experience, and जब गाना आएगा तो आपको बहुत पसंद आएगा. मैंने फिल्म भी देख ली है, superb है.
You do a lot of music concerts. Is there a particular act or song that you only sing on stage?
When I am doing a show anywhere in the world, if there is one voice amongst the 14.5 or 15,000 crowd anywhere, if I'm in America, or if I'm in Australia, or if I'm wherever, if there's one voice that is shouting Kannada, so I understand there is one Kannada guy sitting in the audience, and I make sure that I sing a few lines of my most famous Kannada song Anisutide Yako Indu as an ode to the Kannadigas, because after Hindi, if there is one language that has given me absolute love and apanapan and and the best songs, I have sung better songs in terms of quantity in Kannada than in Hindi. I've sung beautiful songs in Hindi, but I've also sung some average songs in Hindi, many average songs in Hindi. In Kannada, the ratio, I don't think I've sung anything average in Kannada.
Oh.
And I'm very, very proud of the Kannada legacy of mine.
Wow.
That is something which has gone at par with Hindi music.
Oh, nice. Then please give us few lines of your favorite Kannada song.
एक जो गाना बहुत फेमस है वो ये है. It's like they say, it's almost like जैसे कल हो ना हो है हिंदी में, वैसे ये है कन्नड़ा में. ಅನಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಯಾಕೋ ಎಂದು ನೀನೇನೆ ನನ್ನವಳೆಂದು ಮಾಯದ ಲೋಕದಿಂದ ನನಗಾಗೆ ಬಂದವಳೆಂದು ಆಹಾ ಎಂಥ ಮಧುರ ಯಾತನೆ ಕೊಲ್ಲು ಹುಡುಗಿ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ನನ್ನ ಹಾಗೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ ಯಾಕೋ ಎಂದು.
Nice. And finally, Sonu, what advice would you like to give to your younger self, to that Sonu Nigam who tasted his first big success?
We learn. What I was back then was important back then. I won't like to tell Sonu to become what I am today. Similarly, I don't have to be what I was 25 years back or 30 years back. वो सोनू मर गया, वो नहीं है सोनू, और कभी आएगा भी नहीं. But when I came to Bombay in 1991 to become a singer, that Sonu was essential. उसका और इस सोनू से कोई संबंध नहीं है. There is no advice that I would want to go give to that person. Maybe the only piece for self-satisfaction I could have told him. But if I would have told him, then he would not have worked so hard. So the insecurity is a very big part of somebody's success. That Sonu was insecure. If I would tell him today that don't worry, you'll get so many awards and you'll make so much money and you'll be working in this industry for 30 years, that he probably would have gone complacent. That hunger in that Sonu 30 years back is why this Sonu is talking like this. So there is no advice that I would want to give to myself 30 years back, because I don't want that Sonu to get complacent or satiated. That hunger should be there, that insecurity should be there, the fear should be there कि यहाँ से अगर flop हो गया तो वापस दिल्ली जाना पड़ेगा बेटा, बड़ी बेइज्जती होगी. तो वो सोनू वो करेक्ट था, कुछ नहीं बोलना उसको मुझे.
Sonu Nigam, thank you so much and best of luck, and looking forward a lot from you.
Thank you so much. Lots of love to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Apoorva Mehta, the CEO of Karan Johar's film company and one of the producers of next week's Gehraiyaan, reveals why they decided to release the film directly on a streaming platform in this interview with my colleague Vishal Chatkara. Apoorva also explains that we are not yet ready as an industry to have the kind of wider release that Hollywood films have. Listen in.
You're almost a week away from the release of Shakn Batra's Gehraiyaan. How's the mood and excitement like? Because now the film is going to be premiered on an OTT platform. Don't you think a film like this deserves a theatrical run?
Vishal, the thing is that we love the film. I have to say it's an extraordinary film, and a film like this really hasn't been made in Hindi cinema, and it's extremely modern in the sense of its storytelling. It's about human relationships, their fragility. We had intended to make this film for the theatrical release, but having said that, we were very clear that it has to release in the first 2 months of this calendar year, because we also have a tie-up with Viacom Studios, and there are certain calculations that all of us have done to ensure, which had to be matched in a sense. So for us, it was important to release the film in these months, and once again, we're in a situation where there is a little bit of a large amount of fear among people because of the pandemic spreading quite substantially in December and January, and you have lots of states still not working with the high occupancies. So it kind of made sense to us that, listen, why are we doing this, and why are we putting out a film? Because we want to put it out in a situation that's not looking very, very conducive in terms of making sure that we get the maximum eyeballs.
Apoorva, you said while working on Ae Dil Hai Mushkil was a big learning experience for you as a producer. You learned the tricks of the trade and became quite a hands-on producer. Now, what is the most difficult thing or the challenge for a producer today, Apoorva?
Ego management. That's easy to answer. Ego management. I said our business is 80% handling people and 20% actually working. I said it's about you're dealing with so many creative people, be it technicians, be it actors, be it heads of departments, crew. They all creative people. Everyone comes with a point of view. Producing partners, so everyone has a point of view. Everyone has a thought about how things should be done. I think it's about managing everybody's thoughts, expectations, and making sure you still achieve what you need to achieve. I think that is the biggest challenge in the business.
Apoorva, you are someone who understands the business of cinema and film distribution system very well. Do you think our movies are ready now for a worldwide release, like a day and date release where, they're subtitled and released in dub version across the world?
Hindi films are a very unique beast. We are not planned as well as the Hollywood films, because the challenge also is our actors are doing so much content as compared to what in Hollywood you have such a larger talent pool of actors. Here you have only the handful of those 20-25 actors who are really controlling the entire business in terms of films, so they're jumping from one film to the other, and if something goes wrong one project, the next one gets delayed, and so there's the one after that. And then you're always rushing to a release date because something is not finished and you want to miss that release date that you blocked, so invariably then you are battling so many things that you're not able to do a lot of the things that you rightly mentioned that Hollywood does very smartly, which is dubbing them, subtitling them in many languages, creating visibility for them everywhere. See, there are also financial implications of holding on the film. There is a cost attached to it. Most of the producers are independent producers, and we are all bankrolling our films from our internal funds and pre-sales and facilities with banks. So there's only a limited time up to which you can hold on to the film. See, internationally, studios don't have that problem because they have the funding, they have the whole funding system available to them. So we also are living in very different environments. Unfortunately, it's a long way to go to achieve what you said.
Apoorva Mehta, thank you so much and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And with that, we have come to the end of this week's episode of Now Showing. We will see you next week with more reviews and interviews. Until then, goodbye, take good care of yourself, and thank you for watching.